I don't know where I stand with Leslie and Marcel, although I will say this. I do like to see them together more than watching Ted and Shanice or the boring fest that is Nicole and Kial. What's up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Listen, I told you I was going to be a boring week. Not going to lie, might be even more boring than I anticipated. This is the second episode in a row where I felt like I had to do some good old fashioned fast forwarding. Because they are really laying on these episodes where nothing is really happening of substance. Today was a total filler episode in every single way. It's starting to feel like the end of May, early June, I think. Ooh, I think end of May, when we had some truly boring weeks with everything not moving. That's where we are again, I fear. But let's talk about today's episode. Carlton, Kial, Smitty, Ted, Martin apparently had another basketball game that we never get to see, but they were in the locker room. But when alone, Ted and Carlton were eventually alone. They did talk about how Carlton and Nicole are done. It's when Ted said he didn't love the fact that Carlton was dating his ex-wife, or trying to, but Ted still tries to be a good friend to Carlton after this talk. I still find their friendship to be awkward. Speaking of awkward friendships, terrible friend Trash was out with Nicole today, with Vanessa complaining about how confused she is by Joey wanting to keep her away from his sister Heather. Nicole telling Vanessa the cost of being with Joey is all this mystery and edginess and blah blah blah. Martin and Smitty end up interrupting them, and Vanessa later remarked how Nicole's two lovers, her ex, her son-in-law, and her son were all playing basketball together, which is very awkward for Nicole as a family, in my opinion. They have written Nicole's love life as awkward as possible, and then we have Nicole running into Ted. These two are apparently happy for each other regarding Shanice and Kial and those two relationships that they are now in. And then Kial ended up joining Vanessa and Nicole, where they talk about Vanessa meeting Kial's son, referring to him as a nice young, I don't know about that, man. So yeah, they talked about Noah, then Vanessa left, and then Kial and Nicole were alone to bore me to death with their same usual flirting. That an instant fast forward button to me. A lot of these storylines are fast forward material right now because it is just repetitive. I swear Nicole and Kial do the same flirting and then just end up in bed. Whoop-de-doo. Try something new for once, Beyond the Gates. Joey has a new guy, although this guy seems to be just as not great as Randy, but the new guy with Joey is supposed to be watching Heather for Joey, because Joey is frantically trying to figure out the reason that Heather came back, but the guy did not have a whole lot to report to Joey. Joey is certain that Heather is meeting someone and wants this guy and Randy to find out who. I assume that this person is Andre that Joey is referring to. So if Joey does find that out, and if Heather keeps trying to visit Andre, I don't know what that means for Andre, but I guess we'll find out. I wish I could say I was more excited, but honestly, out of all these stories, like I said yesterday, if it's not involving Andre, Danny, Bill, Hayley, it's really hard to give a damn. But Vanessa went to go see Joey for a possible future double date with Nicole and Kial, or that dinner with Heather that Joey still does not want to happen. Vanessa wants to know why Joey thinks that Heather is so awful. Joey wants Vanessa to stop asking about his sister, but Vanessa, in typical fashion, kept pressing for answers. Joey wants to know if it's a deal breaker that some things need to be kept private with Joey. And that finally shut Vanessa up, because we know Vanessa is all up Joey's ass, and that is one thing that will finally shut her up, is Joey wanting to end the relationship if Vanessa doesn't back off. So yeah, Vanessa finally gave in and said no more questions about Heather. And then Joey said there are far better things they could do. And then they kiss. Yeah. One of my least favorite things on this show is when these two kiss. Smitty and Martin got some alone time towards the end of the episode. Not that it really went anywhere. It was just Smitty talking about how he doesn't want to take a vacation with Martin. He doesn't want to go out of town. Smitty is really into his investigative journalist job right now, and he still wants to investigate the Impaler. I mean, I guess that's something. Maybe Heather will try and put out a hit on Smitty's life, kill Smitty, even though Joey told her not to. That could be another reason why Heather is in town. Leslie was on today, and it was the same old Leslie we've been dealing with all year. It just goes nowhere, just super repetitive. Leslie was asking Eva if she's still upset about the scar. Eva is, and said that she doesn't like that she ran to Ted to blab about her scar and how she was feeling to Ted, but Leslie's saying she was just trying to help Eva. Eva then started asking about Marcel and what Marcel actually is to Leslie. Leslie says they are lovers and that Marcel is good to make things disappear for her since he is a cop. Eva asked if Leslie is just passing the time with Marcel while clinging onto this false hope about Ted still. Leslie said that chemistry, like with Ted, doesn't just evaporate, and of course, that's when Ted comes in and Leslie calls him over, says they were just talking about him. But Ted was really there to meet with Shanice, and Leslie had to watch Ted and Shanice together. Shanice and Ted were just talking about Shanice's family because Ted thinks that he's ready to meet Shanice's sisters, but Shanice doesn't think that he is. Leslie was talking to Eva still, saying that Ted will get over Shanice, but Eva tried to tell Leslie that Ted might have finally found his person like Eva did with Isaiah, and that Leslie could too if she could just finally get over Ted. So when Eva left, it seemed like some of Eva's talk got through to Leslie because she ended up calling Marcel and said that if he is still interested in her, then take her out dancing or take her out to dinner or just show some kind of effort. I don't know where I stand with Leslie and Marcel, although I will say this. I do like to see them together more than watching Ted and Shanice or the boring fest that is Nicole and Kial. So that's something. Some of you have speculated that maybe they're going to put Leslie with Carlton. I don't hate that either, but only if they're going to turn Carlton into a bit of a villain too. But you know, this show has its villains right now, and they either struggle with making them, interesting enough, or at least keeping them interesting. They've struggled with keeping Leslie interesting, where she's just more annoying than interesting these days. She could still be funny, but she is more annoying than she is interesting. They're stretching out the Hayley stuff because they don't know how to end it. They've just brought on a new villain in Heather that they've really built up as being this big bad villain. We haven't seen that play out yet. Maybe it will be interesting. I sure hope so, because everything Impaler related so far has kind of just been lukewarm at best. Maybe just cold water. I don't know. Bill told Hayley that he is losing his mind being cooped up in the hospital. He wants his bed and his food and his wife. Hayley said that she is lonely in the big house without him. She ends up laying in the hospital bed with Bill. Hayley says maybe she will move in, joking, but Shanice came in and says, the hell you will. Shanice wants Hayley out of the bed because hospital beds are for patients only. Bill is going on and on about how he feels fine, being typical Bill, not really seeming that concerned about his health, just more stubborn than anything. Hayley says that they need to have caution because Bill really just wanted to go home and have sex with Hayley. Bill says that the cardiologist said nothing about not having sex. So when Shanice leaves, it seems like Bill and Hayley get frisky in Bill's hospital bed, which was ridiculous, but at least Hayley's been entertaining me these days because not a whole lot of people on this show are. So I was amused by that. Hayley heard the alarm going off because Bill's heart rate was rising, and she walks in on Bill and Hayley getting frisky. A frustrated Bill says, screw it, he's going home. This leads to a Hayley and Ashley argument, which leads to Ashley calling security on Hayley because Hayley broke several hospital rules. So she has security walk Hayley out, and Hayley goes on and on about how nobody's going to keep her away from Bill. Everybody's trying to, but she's going to be with Bill until his last breath. But yeah, overall today, literally no movement in any storyline. A lot of repetitive stuff. A lot of stuff that's just inconsequential. This show has a pacing problem. It has a stakes problem because of the pacing problem. And I haven't checked the ratings lately. I hope they're going down, though, because that's the only way we're going to get new writers. If this show loses a little bit more ratings. The ratings have gone down the past few weeks that I've checked, but not like enough. Like I've been saying, the demo's down this year compared to last year. Less younger people are watching, probably because of this pace. But I think it needs to lose another 100K to 150K total viewers before we maybe get a new head writer. But I don't know. CBS waited forever to get a new head writer for The Young and the Restless when they needed a new head writer 4 years ago. So it might be 4 years till we get a new head writer on this show.